Right. Locked and loaded.
How they look when they first come out.
Yeah, well, hi guys. I'm on a bit of a holiday. Yeah, I'm up north in an area called the Skagit Valley. Yeah, it's where I grew up. I spent most of my younger years until university time, and yeah, well, I did a couple years of university here, and then I left the area for some time. Yeah, I was born in Portland, and I've lived there for some time. But then when I was young, parents moved up here, and so I grew up in this area. Uh, but right now I'm down towards, of course you can see I'm down towards the coastal area, and I grew up on the other side of the valley in the mountains, and down in a small town in the foothills, so in that area. But it's a beautiful valley, and I like to come back and visit when I can. And this time of year, they have a festival for tulips and other flowers, bulb flowers like that, daffodils, iris, yeah, those type of flowers. Yeah, the valley's called Little Holland because it's yeah, there's windmills and flower fields all over the place, and dikes, and the valley can flood. It flooded a few times when I was young. I remember the valley looking more like a lake, but I think they fixed it better since then. So it doesn't flood as much as it used to. Yeah, it's going to be hard smoking out here this morning. We have early in the morning here, and it's a bit windy, so maybe I'll keep this brief. Yeah. Anyways, I'm smoking an interesting tobacco, I think, and it's a limited edition, and it's a newer tobacco. Came out not too long ago. I don't remember exactly when. I lose track of all these things, all these new tobaccos coming out constantly. But it's a Cornell and Deal, made in conjunction with Erik Stokkebye. So it's a 4th generation small batch limited edition. Yeah, so I thought it fit this small fishing village that I'm staying in. So yeah, anyways, as you saw, it comes in this really nice box on the outside, and then yeah, you open it up, and that's where the tin is. Yeah, and so the tin has that same nice art on it. Yeah, so let me read to you what it says on the tin, just so you have an idea of what they're trying to do with the tobacco, and yeah, what's in the tobacco. It says aged Carolina, mahogany and lemon flue-cured Virginias are married with top-tier Orientals from Turkey and Greece, producing a mixture deep in flavor, rich in oil, and full of natural sweetness. So far, so good. Except, yeah, rich in oil. Interesting. They would say, they'd put it that way. It says a hazelnut top note accentuates the blend's balance, melange of spices, dark fruit, a bright citrus, and floral characteristics. Yeah, so I think it is an interesting tobacco because it's Virginia's and Oriental's Turkish, and I think that's basically it in the blend. So it's yeah, it's kind of a bold tobacco, I think, to make without trying to add. I mean, it's not like they made a simple blend. You heard from the description that it's there's some interesting tobaccos in there, but it's simple in the fact that they didn't try to add any kind of other leaves, a Cavendish or Kentucky's or something like that would somehow perhaps save the blend, if you know what I mean. It's not that these tobaccos have to be saved or anything like that, but I guess to be safe, sometimes the more you add to a recipe, the more you're going to grab the attention of the pipe smoker, or at least more of a majority of pipe smokers, because they might find some kind of nuance in the tobacco that really attracts them, and then so when you're adding different types of tobaccos in there, then you're adding the chance to for pipe smokers of whatever genre that you are to be attracted to it. That's all I mean by safe. It's not that. Yeah, it's not that you can't have just a tobacco with just Virginia in it or whatever, but you're just limiting the amount of people that are going to attach themselves to it in some way or another. So I think it's interesting that they did that. They just have Turkish and Virginia, and they kept it somewhat simple. So yeah, it's citrusy and sweet and floral, and then there's really tang, spice, but it's all very subtle. It's not really in your face, or at least it isn't to me. It's a very delicate blend in lots of ways. Even the texture of the tobacco, and I'll show you in a minute, is soft. It's how some tobacco feels somewhat rough in your hand or something like that. This feels soft, like almost like if you've ever been in the forest and you come across like an old cedar tree that's really been decayed and the inside's coming out, and you kind of feel the inner pithy core of it coming out, and the sawdust is just very soft, and it feels like that a bit to me. So it feels a little different. It's a flake. I think I'm not sure how they characterize it, but it's a flake, but it's really a ready rub flake because it's so soft. It's almost like the flakes, like they cut it in flakes and they gathered it together, and it just kind of did what I just described the citrus tree doing, just kind of disintegrating. So it's so soft even as you pull it out of the tin, it's falling apart. Let me try to show you this without blowing away here. Yeah, so it's quite on the bright side, I think. Yeah, but it's just really soft tobacco. So yeah, you can find a flake, but yeah, it just falls apart under its own weight. So when you smell it, you really smell grass and hay and a bit of the a tart citrus. And there is, I think, especially at the end of, as you're blowing the smoke out, I think there is a bit of earthiness and nuttiness that I can detect too. But like I said, all the flavors are just very gentle and subtle. So there's nothing harsh on this tobacco. I don't think at all. It smokes very smoothly. It's a very enjoyable smoke. Yeah, something I wish. Yeah, I could smoke every day probably. Yeah, I know I'm not going to because I don't tend to always gravitate towards one tobacco for my everyday smoke. I don't really have that, but I do have tobaccos that I go to, more often than others. But I don't have everyday smokes, so yeah. So that's it, I think, about the tobacco. It is a little bit on the moist side, I think. So some of you might be led to kind of dry it out or something. I don't think you have to. I think if you're patient enough, it's soft enough, and you just kind of go slow on it, because you're going to want to go slow on this anyways and really enjoy it, because this is really a good, I think, good quality tobacco. So this isn't something I think you really want to rush through. You really want to take your time and enjoy this tobacco. So this is one that you really want to light a little, taste the first flavors, tamp it down a little bit, light it again, taste the next flavors, and just really sit down and enjoy this tobacco. This tobacco is a natural tobacco, but I think it's almost in that genre of dessert tobaccos. For me, it's something that you can really enjoy like a dessert. You don't want to eat through your dessert really quickly. You want to savor it, maybe have something to drink that you really enjoy with it, and just take your time with it and really enjoy all the, especially with like a fancy dessert. You don't want to just scoop it in. You want to enjoy all the different parts of, what the pastry chef has done or whatever with the dessert. You want to be able to enjoy all those parts. So I think it's the same with this. It's such an interesting tobacco for me. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. Going to be heading back soon. Got a few more things to look at, and it's just a short trip here, but hopefully I'll be able to piece together some parts of the trip and show you a little bit about this area that I grew up in up north here, quite a ways up north. We're almost to the Canadian border, so. Yeah, so I'm going to finish this pipe. It's it's still early in the morning. It's a bit windy and chilly out here, so I do want to finish up and go get something to eat, some breakfast or something. So, anyways, you take care. Yeah, guys, and we'll see you again soon.
要拍吗？不用不用不用不用，不用不用不用，不用我随便。